Hi, Terri Gillespie here, and welcome to Author Highlight. And boy, am I really excited because I have award-winning author Emily H. Jeffries. And Emily she's kind of hidden away right now, actually hidden away right now. And but we're going to be able to talk to her and see her beautiful face here pretty soon. But before we did, I wanted to take care of a little bit of business. And one of those things is just to remind you to like, comment, and share. Because the more we do that, the more this video is elevated in the YouTube world. And we want people to know about Emily, and we want people to know about her incredible book. And we're going to be talking about that soon. And while you're on your way down to like, share, please be sure and subscribe. And when that little dingy bell comes up, be sure and click that. And YouTube will actually let you know anytime I post a new video. So it's official. We get to welcome Emily Jeffries.
Hello.
There she is.
Hi, Terri.
Hi.
Thank you so much for having me on your lovely YouTube station. I really appreciate it.
Well, it's my pleasure. And I hope you have a good time, because I think we will have a good time.
I think so.
So I thought I would start with a bio of our Emily, and Realm Maker Award winner for Best Debut Novel. Emily H. Jeffries is a theology teacher and speaker with bachelor's degrees in drama and religious studies from the University of Virginia, and a master's degree in sacred theology from the Dominican House of Studies in Washington, D.C., where most of her classmates were wizards, friars, right? So she currently lives in Atlanta, Georgia with her husband, her baby daughter, her Aussie doodle, and herbs. Do you say herbs or herbs?
I do say herbs.
Okay, I do too. I have a friend from England and she says herbs.
Sure. Yes, we could be fancy.
Yeah.
Herbs.
Yes, some herbs. So Fyrian's
fire.
Fyrian's, it's Fyrian's fire.
But it's fantasy, which means that made up words you can pronounce however you want.
Oh, good, because
there's no official dictionary.
Okay, so I'll probably pronounce it 5 or 6 different ways.
That's fine.
Okay, so Bob is going to put the actual pronunciation up so that everybody will know, so that when they're reading your book, they'll read it in their head properly.
Right.
So how can future readers stay in touch with you, Emily?
Well, I do have a newsletter, and that I send out a couple times a year with big news. So I don't really flood your inbox all that much. But if you do sign up and subscribe, then you get the first 3 chapters of Fyrian's Fire for free. And of course, you're the first to hear things like the launch date of the next installment of the Glademont series, when my world building workbook is going to become available for free on the website, things like that. But if you want to just get in touch and message me, there's a way to email me through the website, but also I'm pretty active on Instagram. And my account is private just because my daughter is adopted, and just for her sake, I do make it private, but don't let that scare you. Please send a request, and you can even say, I met you through Terri, and I'll be happy to invite you into the little community I've got on Instagram.
Excellent, excellent. I remember you teaching a class to our chapter group about Instagram, and literally it went in my ear here and it went out the other side. So
Yeah.
what's going to happen is you're just going to have to come over. I'll feed you, and
That
you'll
sounds
have to
good.
show me how to do Instagram because everybody keeps yelling at me that.
Well, I think everybody's personality is drawn to a certain platform, and
Mhm.
I just lean into that. Like Instagram feels comfortable to me, and I kind of am getting in the groove of it. Twitter never took to me, and I never took to it, and so I'm okay with that. I've just let that go. I'm on there. You can find me there, and then click through to my other platforms. I also have a Facebook page, so you can find me there, but I'm not often there just because that's not where I feel like hanging out. And I think that's okay.
I think that's okay because really it fits the demographic of your book. It
Yeah,
really
that's true.
does. And
That's true too. I
and
found
so
my people.
you found your peeps. You
Yeah.
found your peeps. Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, all those really important links are down below, and I'll actually add, be sure and mention Terry to um, to get into that Instagram invite. Um, Now, the September author highlight blog features Emily's debut novel, Fyrian's Fire. And so be sure and check that out, and be sure and write a comment, and you will automatically be entered in the giveaway. And the giveaway is so cool. We're going to find out more about that. But Emily, I have to say that your writing is so beautiful, and congratulations, this book is the first full length.
I saw that.
I
Fantasy.
mean, I mean, Tolkien couldn't do it. So consider yourself very, very fortunate, or I don't know about fortunate,
I
but
know, I do. I
yeah.
do. I would anyway, even if you were a huge fantasy fan. So this is even more of a bolster. But that was very generous of you. I very rarely venture outside of the genre that I like to read. And that was very generous of you to venture out into YA fantasies. So I appreciate that. And I'm glad it was not one of the like New York Times bestsellers with the assassin main character. Like the female assassin is usually the main character in those kind of best-selling fantasies.
Yeah.
I actually wrote something to kind of offer something else to the genre.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. Our son is Black, and trying to find good, wholesome protagonists who
Mm,
are African American is very difficult. And Rashad Jennings has written a series
yes.
of fantasy books, and not quite the level of fantasy that yours is, but I read those, and I reviewed those, and
Oh,
my
good.
grandson just loved those. So I'm looking forward to getting this book to him too,
Oh,
and
you're
see.
sweet.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
and there are just some if you haven't already, viewers, be sure and watch my review, because I'm actually going to start reading some of the really fun character characterizations. And as a writer, I'm always looking at that. I'm always looking at a turn of phrase. I'm always looking at a unique way to develop a character in just a few words. And Emily has just done such a beautiful job, and it's funny, and it's just,
Oh, good. I was
yeah,
hoping it would be funny.
yeah, yeah. So there, yeah. Once you get into animals and vultures and things like that, yeah, I mean, they look funny. So,
Yeah, I'm a big fan of a romping adventure. And
mhm.
so I think we'll mention, this is mentioned in the blog, but so one of my favorite things is the sidekick character. and
Hmm.
just all quirk, and he's just there to provide some relief from the tension of the
Yeah.
stakes. And that's like one of my favorite things to consume in stories. So it was fun to be able to write that.
Excellent. Well, you did a wonderful job. You really did. And this is a book that if you're not accustomed or if you've never delved into this type of genre, into the speculative genre, this is a great intro into that world. And I think you're really going to love it. So, what I thought is, I'm talking about it. What about if you read a few paragraphs of your book? Would you do that for us?
Absolutely. I happen to have a copy right here in front of me. This is my we both have a copy.
How
This is
about that?
all marked up because this is like the first hard copy I got. And then of course I just put so many notes in it for the rest of the series. So I won't be giving this away because it's not fit for for someone to be
For reader
reading.
consumption? Yeah.
Yes, it would be very distracting. But I'll just read the first couple paragraphs. There's a prologue which starts with not the POV of our protagonist Tess, but one corner of the love triangle that she is in,
Mm.
which, I couldn't avoid that. That just had to happen. But hopefully there's a kind of a new twist on it in the ending. Okay, so it begins. On the first night of the wedding festival, a foreigner ambled from the untamed lands west of Glademont Castle. His stubble grew thick for a man no older than 20. Cool wind blew leaves against his long legs, which parted the swaying grasses of a yellowing meadow. 30 paces away lay Glademont's main highway, where villagers sang patriotic songs on their way to the royal wedding. A crow with clouded eyes hunched on his shoulder. It unfolded a wing and shifted on its talons. When you find her, don't touch it. The bird's throat caught on a perpetual scratch. Cut off her hair and put it in your pouch. Escape unseen and bring it to me. The young foreigner hoisted his faded checkered trousers and scowled at the Glademontians with their colorful trappings and prim feathered hats. I confess I never thought I'd be wearing my seaman's rags again, he said. The crow's rasp intensified. There will be citizens from all four corners of the Dion, not only the wealthy. You are to blend with the peasants, boy. Look no one in the eye and keep moving. The man clicked his tongue and lengthened his stride.
Ooh.
Ruh-roh.
Ooh. Yeah, yeah. So just that crow sitting on his shoulder, it's like, "Grr," and his talons digging into his shoulder. Oh,
It's
so
funny you
good.
mentioned that crow because that's the catalyst for the whole book was envisioning the crow first.
Was it
Never.
really?
Mm-hmm. And
So,
everything else kind of came after.
so you saw the crow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. And see, viewers, this is what I'm talking about. So the author highlight blog interview has a lot of fascinating information, and I hope you're going to like it because I had so much fun adding graphics to that blog.
Ooh.
So yeah, I'm not even going to. I'll tell you after the. No, I'm not even going to do. I'm going to make you be surprised. So
Okay, I'm excited.
it's just fun. I mean, it's just
Oh.
fun. So so you'll learn about the story behind the story and a little bit about you and how you came about, how writing became such a passion for you. But these interviews are different. I want them to be kind of fun. Not that the blog isn't fun. I have to quit saying that. So one of the questions that I posed to Emily was, what is your superpower, or what do you wish your superpower was, and how about sharing that with our viewers? But before you do that, you did mention in the blog that one of your superpowers is stand-up comedy. So I got to know about that.
Well, I have to say it's improv comedy. I don't think I would survive doing stand up because stand up was, just you and you've got it memorized and you've got the timing memorized and different comedians are drawn to like a lot of stand up comedians like would have heart attacks doing improv. So it just kind of depends on your personality. But yeah, I started doing improv in college and was a fangirl of this troupe the first semester and then knew a guy in it and he invited me to audition. And so ever since then, I've been performing and teaching improv, and it actually informs my drafting a whole lot.
Yeah.
There are some rules in improv that I try um, to allow to inspire when I'm drafting. Um,
Huh.
so in improv, your scene partner gives you what we call a gift, such as, hey, zookeeper, where are all the monkeys? And so now that person is giving you the gift of, oh, I know I'm a zookeeper. And so you don't have to think about it anymore. They already told you you're a zookeeper. And in drafting, it helps not to overanalyze what you just put on the paper. Like that's a gift. I put a
Mhm,
detail there. What if I
mhm,
worked with it instead of kind of agonizing over it like zookeeper, that's stupid. Like, no, I'm not a zookeeper. I'm a grandma. The scene goes nowhere. You can't get anywhere with it.
mhm.
So things like that. That's just one example of principles of improv that helped me a lot in drafting Fyrian's Fire, and it's helping me a lot. I've written another book outside the series since then. I'm drafting book 2, and it does just help you to keep going and also discover something that if you had pre-planned it, too meticulously, it never would have occurred to you. But I love, I mean, I don't know that I'm particularly good at it. I think I'm a good support improviser.
You're
So
you're the
that
good, what is it?
I'm the sidekick.
You're the sidekick.
So that the real geniuses can shine. I just love to be a part of it. And I love to teach it to kids too, because a lot of different kinds of kids discover that like, oh, this is what I need. Like improv fills kind of just like a creative need that, sitting in a classroom doesn't, or even scripted plays doesn't. So I love it so much.
That's interesting. Kathy Golke, who's won like 500 Christie Awards.
Yeah.
So,
We're
but
very happy for her
yes, and we're
though.
very happy. Well, she's my best friend, so I'm very
Oh,
happy for her. But she started out writing plays
cool.
for her church. So she has an understanding of scripting and the importance.
Character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
And
dialogue.
being right and being able to capture a scene because you have to build a scene um, in a play.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's really neat. It is really helpful. I guess what do we call them? Beats in a scene.
Hmm.
And you can break down a scene into like tiny units, but each unit has the same arc. So yeah, I mean it is very helpful in storytelling.
Hmm. It is very helpful. So writers out there, you guys just got some really good gems here. So I hope you're paying attention.
There's
So
probably, I could look it up and maybe we can link it. There probably are some really great script writing books that are could be, again, can serve in drafting a novel.
I think I think Brandolyn Collins did something in her crafting characters that she did
Hmm.
because she talked about the fact that she writes like murder, I mean like
Okay.
gory murder mysteries,
Okay.
and she will write from the point of view of the murderer, the serial killer. So
Oh,
somebody asked her, well, how do you get into that mind frame?
right.
And she said, it's so easy. She said, because I had a fly in my house and I tried to get that fly. And when I finally got that fly, I was so glad to
Oh, I
finally kill
love
that
it.
thing. So she said she just extrapolated, that type of hunting and
Yeah.
pouncing on. So a lot of the serial killers um traits
Yeah,
she could depict,
that's hilarious.
isn't that
Well, there
great?
is so much empathy involved in writing.
Yes,
But
yes.
that's genius to apply that experience to a serial killer. I wouldn't have made that connection.
Yes. So, and she writes a bunch of these books, so she's
Oh, how funny.
so now tell me about the superpower you wish you
Oh,
had.
so the superpower I wish I had is I wish that I was a trained dancer, and I always have admired so much. And I did a lot of theater in high school and college, and it was a bit of a handicap for me that I hadn't kept up with dancing. And I always just loved, like, I was in Oklahoma, and the girl
Oh,
who played Dream Lori, I was just like, oh that is so much talent. And so I do live vicariously a little bit through Tess, the main character in Fyrian's Fire, who is a trained dancer. And not only that, but she's kind of renowned in this kingdom. It's called Dion. And for her talent and just her beauty and grace. And that talent doesn't end up taking her in the direction she thought it would,
mm-hmm.
but it does end up being vital to her, um, hopefully redeeming herself in the story.
Ooh, ooh, very interesting.
At least somewhat.
Well, it's interesting because, of course, I looked up the superpower in the official powerlifting fandom, and there is actually a superpower called enhanced dancing, and it falls under the category of performance art intuition.
Well, it's, I mean, watching a beautiful performance of any kind, but I think
Mhm,
particularly dance, is really magical. I mean,
mhm.
you
It
do get a
is.
sense that something kind of supernatural is happening.
I agree, and I firmly believe um, that because our God, our Heavenly Father, is the creator of the universe. And so he he is not stingy with those creative sparks.
Right.
And you know how it is that I mean, especially in because you're writing a story world that is, extreme. It's completely in your head. And so, I can hear my characters talking to one another. And I believe that that is just part of that creative spark from the Lord. And I believe that when you create that story world, you're getting those little seeds, those little sparks.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the wonderful thing about it being a Christian artist of any kind is the act of co-creating and recognizing I mean, the more you try to create, the more you realize how unbelievable it is what God has created. Because you're just borrowing from what already, even in fantasy, you're just borrowing from what already exists. And you see the beauty and magic in that, imagine creating it out of nothing. So it is a very humbling experience that helps you, that strengthens your relationship with your creator.
I believe that. That's why a lot of people don't understand why fiction is so important
Mm,
in this world, is because it real, especially, any of God's gifts can be abused. And we've all seen it in music and dance and books, and we've seen how it's been abused. But when it's turned and facing our creator and inspired by him, it is something just amazing.
right. Yeah, it's an echo of heaven.
Oh, I like that. Honey, put that on there. Echo in heaven.
Just that, I mean, just that feeling, I guess C.S. Lewis, I'm gonna botch it, but he just described like this longing for home, this feeling that you're not home, but this like um elated anticipation for it
Mhm.
is heaven calling for you. And I feel that feeling when I read C.S. Lewis, Voyage of
Mhm.
the Dawn Treader, especially. And that's what we're all striving for. I mean, who knows how close some of us writers are to doing that, but
Yeah.
just chasing it is an edifying exercise.
It truly is. It truly is. I have a friend, or actually, he was my boss, and he's produced 13 albums. And
Mm.
he said, and it's his music. And he said the spark, it comes from God. I can't explain it. I can't say how that melody just came into my head, except that it came straight from the heart of God. So
Oh,
yeah,
that's
pretty
beautiful.
cool.
Doesn't
Yeah.
always feel like that, but so there's a
Yes.
balance of work and inspiration.
Yes. Amen. Amen. So I just found out from Miss Emily that she is offering not just, I shouldn't say just, she's not offering just the Fyrian's fire, but she's got some other really exciting gifts. So can you share that with our viewers?
I can. I have already ordered my second uh, package of stickers. So my sister, as you mentioned in the pre-review, is the illustrator of Fyrian's Fire. She also put together some portraits of some of my favorite animal characters in the book. And we have made stickers out of them. And so those are coming in a couple of days. So one of each of those characters is going to be in the giveaway. And I also have, if you read Fyrian's Fire, you'll see what a huge garden lover I am. I'm a big flora and fauna is my heart. And so, of course, I have a huge collection of seed packets. And so I thought I'd throw in some really special ones from Floret Flower, who is a very cool lady. She is a flower farmer, I believe in Oregon, and she actually now has a show on Magnolia Network and is a friend of Joanna Gaines. And so her seeds sell out so fast. And so I have a few flowers to share there.
Ooh.
And then if anybody already has a copy of Fyrian's Fire, I also have a signed copy of the first installment of the Whitewash trilogy, which a good friend of mine wrote, also Christian writer, beautiful, clean fiction. This is sci-fi. It's sort of like X-Men. It's very fast-paced and really fun. It's
Ooh.
also YA. And so the first installment is called The Trace, and I can include that in the giveaway.
Well, I'll have to do a pre-review of her, and then
You will. Oh,
yeah,
it's great. It's
yeah, I'll have to
fantastic.
do a pre-review.
Oh, yeah.
I'm booked up for author highlights until halfway through 2022.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
great.
yeah, very exciting. Um,
Yeah.
but I can do pre-reviews, the weekly pre-reviews, and I let people know about the book, and then once I've read it, I will post reviews on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, BookBub, Goodreads.
That is so
Yeah,
generous. You're such a gift to us fellow authors.
yeah,
You know, you know what it's
I
like.
know, I know. So yeah, I know. So
Yeah.
so it, as exciting as this is, I'm sure everybody wants to know how they can hedge their entries. And so if you like this video, actually click on the like button, click like, and then write a comment in the comment section, then that's one entry. If you hit the share button and share it with on your social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest. Pinterest actually is really good for authors too. Um, then you get one. But if you subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the little dingy bell, then you get 2 entries. Then if you hop on over to the blog and put a comment down there, you'll get another entry. And then if you sign up for my newsletter, you'll get 2 free gifts and another entry. So that's 6 entries. So I've been putting them in this little antique teacup.
I was just thinking that was a lot of work. You were so sweet to be keeping track of all of that.
And I put those, it's now that little teacup is getting overflowed. So
Oh yeah.
yeah. So
And
but
I
I'm
was
happy.
Yeah, that's fun. I would especially love anybody who's read the book or knows me, a friend or family of mine, especially to leave a comment here on YouTube and let us know that you watched on there. That would be really fun for me.
Yeah, yeah. Any of Emily's family, especially those who have read it, share how you loved it and why you loved that book, because
Yeah, that would be cool.
that will help other viewers who come and visit and watch this video, so they can see
Yeah.
it's not just us saying it, it's other people too.
Yeah, right.
So the drawing will be held September 10th. And oh, by the way, people who are already subscribed to my YouTube channel and who are already subscribed to my newsletter, as long as you put a comment there, you will get all those extra entries as well. So
So sweet.
yeah, I'm not like the telephone company that, if you only sign up at a certain time, you get the good deals. So
Hopefully none of us is like the telephone company.
yeah. Well, yeah, because I have this big brother fear. So
Yo, oh, absolutely.
yes, yeah, yeah, because I lived in 1985. Anyway, so please note that entries can only be from the contiguous US at this time, no international. We hope to change that soon. Find ways to making that work for our authors so that our international viewers can benefit from the giveaways as well. So Emily, do you have any final words?
Well, I just have a little log line on my website that I put up there really as like a North Star for my own writing, just to remind myself, like, why is it that I sit down and write? And it's that there is no adventure without hope. And I think some of those stories that you mentioned where God's gifts can be abused, and some art that's produced can be either misleading or defeatist or whatever. I think what's missing in a lot of those is hope and an outlook of hope. And I think it's a defining characteristic of the Christian worldview, that we have reason to hope. And I love the image of Moses on that mountaintop, and he's being shown the promised land before he dies.
Yeah, or before he
And
gets buried. Yeah.
right. And so, but there's so much joy in that, and just the knowledge that God fulfills his promises, and that can be sustaining. And it's, I think, the difference too between an adventure that is like fatiguing and doesn't feel like an adventure at all, and an adventure that's exciting and new and dangerous, but that has some kind of quality that's like broad and forward looking. And I think that's hope. And so I feel strongly about that. And I try when I go to speak, and I'm going to speak to a school later this month, I try to help readers make that connection between loving adventure stories and seeing your own interior life, your own journey with Christ as an adventure.
Mhm.
So
Hmm.
I encourage everyone to try and do that and look at every new trial as like just a fun, a troll under a bridge, and you got to figure out how to get past it and always hope that it'll work out.
That's beautiful. And with hope comes trust. And especially as writers of of clean fiction and inspirational fiction, the reader has to trust us. They have to trust that we are not going to deceive them, that the
Mm,
hope will always be that thread through that story.
that's
So
so true. Yeah, that's so
yeah.
true.
Well, that is, I love that. That's beautiful and great way to end our episode here. So thanks for watching our ninth. Is this our ninth, my
Can
ninth
it be?
episode of Author Highlight with Terry? And just a reminder, in the description section below, all those great links are there, including links to Emily's social media and as well as mine. And we sure appreciate the likes, subscribes, and follows. Sure appreciate that. Next month, the Author Highlight blog and YouTube interview will feature award-winning Patty Hill Smith. And we just spent time with Patty at a writer's retreat, didn't we?
Yes, she's a wonderful mentor.
She really is. She's just incredible.
Hmm.
So thanks again, everyone. I appreciate you stopping by and giving us a watch. So God bless and keep
Keep reading.
reading.